Penitentiary, please introduce yourself for the record.
I am Wanda Allstark.
With this,
I'm sorry, the audio was mute. This is Rochelle Ambo, the deputy warden, and I also have Reginald Lamberot, the classification officer, here with me.
all right, thank you, Warden Ambo. We are ready for our first case, Mr. Jackie Washington.
Okay, Mr. Lamberot is getting him.
Okay, thank you.
We thought DCI was going in front of us.
Yeah, they had some technical issues, so we moved you up on the list.
Okay.
Get at the table, Jack. In the black chair. Y'all start behind him.
Go all the way behind on the first floor. No, you gotta go this come in the front.
First row, first.
So we'll do 4 in the front and then do the rest go behind him.
Yeah.
So you gotta go down, sir, all the way to the end. Yeah. Wait, no. She coming around here. Where you going?
All right, everybody comfortable? Okay. Good morning, Mr. Washington.
Good morning, ma'am.
Could you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Jackie Lewis Washington, DLC numbers 107015.
All right, yes, sir. Let me acknowledge the folks you have there with you at Angola. Shirley Washington, your mother, Wilbert Washington, your father, Francis Casform, a friend, Winnie Washington, your brother, Amanda Washington, your sister-in-law, and Alika Washington, your niece. Here with us at Baton Rouge, we're at DOC headquarters. We have Sonja Lloyd, your cousin, who's here also in support. I have noted here, your mother, your brother, and your sister-in-law will be speaking on your behalf, and at the appropriate time, we'll call on them to do so. Okay, first I'm going to read some identifying information into the record, and then we'll get started. Mr. Washington, your DOC number, as you stated, is 107015. You're classified as a third felony offender. You were sentenced 1984 for simple burglary. You received a 2-year sentence. You have a July 1984 also theft, 2-year sentence. And then we have, those are in Iberville Parish. And then in East Baton Rouge, you have a February 1988 aggravated kidnapping conviction for which she received a life sentence. Before we get started, I also want to acknowledge that we have a representative from the DA's office, Ms. Barbera, in East Baton Rouge Parish, and she'll be making some comments as well. Before we start our interview process, Mr. Washington, we'd like for you to take a moment and tell us why you believe we ought to vote favorably for you today.
Well, after I've been incarcerated for 38 years, ma'am, my life has changed dramatically. I'm not the same person that I was back then. Took a lot of classes to help change my life, and I realized what I'd done was totally wrong. And I have a lot of family support that supports me and wants to see me get out, and I can't thank them enough. And like I say, I am wrong for what I've done. I shouldn't even be here to be saying this here because there's no way I can even ever explain to why I did what I did because it was wrong. I take full responsibility, and if I was to get out, if you was to vote for me, I will do everything I can to help other people not do what I've done, change their lives, not to go down the road that I did.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to hear from the folks who want to speak on your behalf. In that we allow a total of 10 minutes, so we'll split that time up between your three speakers. And first, we'd like to hear from your mother, Miss Shirley.
You can sit right there. They can hear you.
Yes, my name is Shirley Washington. I am the mother of Jackie Lewis Washington. I have 4 children. I'm retired from East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. And I spent the first 28 years with Jackie. And based on those 28 years that I had him at home, he was a model child. Never had any problems, never had a harsh word. I never saw him disrespect any elders, which I trained him like that. I had 3 boys and they all came up the same way. And I've prayed for 37 years for this day. And I pray that you all see fit and have mercy upon his soul, that he would be able to come home. And I prayed for this, that he would walk through those doors a free man once again while I live. We are, well, you know, I'm 78 years old and his dad is 80. We don't have a lot of time left in this world. And I would like to see him come home to spend these last few years that I have, if that many. I just pray that he would be released. He's always been a good child. I never had any problems with him. Not to another person, another older person, unlike the children that they got in the streets now. They have no respect for their elders. But my children, they came up respecting their elders and respecting any other person. I've never seen them give a harsh word to anybody. And I pray that you will see fit to let him come home these last few years that we have.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being there today. Could we hear now from Mr. Lenny Washington?
How you doing?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I've been coming up here to see my brother. Well, not 37 years, but close to 35 years. You know, back and forth to this prison. And what they telling me, what was going on with him back then, you know, I never realized, figured, what happened to my brother, you know. And the last time I seen my brother, I was maybe 8, 9 years old. And so now, me coming up here all this time, these many years to see my brother, you know, behind these bars. And I just hoping, you know, the Lord knows this, you know, hoping knows to let him come home, you know, why he know he still could. And I hope y'all, you know, consider, you know, looking into that again, maybe let him come back home.
Sir, thank you. And Ms. Amanda Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Washington. I'm Jackie's sister-in-law. The last time I saw him, I was pregnant with his first niece. My daughter was born 4 months later, and the only time she's ever seen her uncle has been here behind bars. I myself, being his sister-in-law, has never known of him to ever have a harsh word for anybody. I've always seen him helping people. I've always seen him doing good for others. And I believe he's still that type of person. I believe he's still the kind of person that if he sees someone in need of help of any kind, that he's willing to help. I don't know what it will take for you all to see him like we see him. But if you would just take and have mercy on the fact that he has learned from his mistakes and now he's trying to correct the error of his ways. I just believe that if given a second chance, that he can do this. Because I just feel like God is a God of another chance. And for him to have a second chance at proving he's capable of living a normal life and staying free is the best way for him to do it. So I'm just asking for you all to just take into consideration that he deserves to be happy just like any of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We appreciate your remarks. Before we start our interview, Warden Ambo, is there anything you'd like us to know about Mr. Washington?
Yes, Mr. Washington is a minimum A trustee. He's assigned to Easy 4 and works as a groundkeeper. He has a total of 52 DB reports. The last report was September 16 of 2004 for 30W. He has victim awareness and victim awareness letter training, 100 hours of substance abuse. 100 hours pre-release, substance abuse and anger management. His tiger is low.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Green?
Okay, I was assigned the case, Mr. Washington, so I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. Okay, how long had you been out there waiting when the victim showed up?
Well, it wasn't very long, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, and how often had you gone to this same spot?
That was my first time.
Did you return to that spot later?
Maybe a week.
Weren't you arrested in the exact same spot that you picked up the girl?
Yes, sir.
Any particular reason you went back to that spot? You're looking for another victim?
No, sir, I wasn't looking for another victim. I was riding. I hadn't stopped anywhere.
You had any drug, alcohol problems when you were younger?
No, sir.
You ever did drugs, alcohol?
No, sir.
I seen you had a juvenile record. What was that about?
I think I had when I was working at a store somewhere, I had a burglary charge. I don't remember the full detail of it, but that's the only thing I can
Yeah, it was a
think of.
simple murder.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you had two periods of supervision with adult probation, and both of them were revoked. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you on supervision when this crime happened?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been out?
I
Period
think,
that happened.
I think about 3 months.
Where you gonna live at? Where you gonna work?
I'm gonna live with my mom and dad, and I'm gonna work with my brother doing lawn service.
All right, I see you have strong opposition from DA Tracy of Barbara and East Baton Rouge, Tony Clayton in West Baton Rouge, Sheriff Brett Stassi and Major Morris. They're both also are opposed, and the chief is opposed. Why you haven't taken too many classes? You only got 4 classes. Yeah, long time.
Well, I just completed Thinking for a Change 2 weeks ago. So we wouldn't show up in my record, but I just got through completing.
I got it down.
Because the class had got shut down.
I got it. I found it too,
Okay.
Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, I have it in my packet. Thank you, Ward. And why did you not take those sex offender classes? I mean, that's major.
Well, They tell me, well, they tell me I didn't need it.
Hmm.
I went to classification and to find out every class that I needed, and they told me I didn't need this particular class.
All right.
And then to answer your question, why I haven't taken a lot of the other classes, I came down with cancer, and I had been doing a lot of cancer treatment. So I wasn't in the prison to actually do the classes.
And, sorry to hear that. How's the cancer? It's in remission now?
Well, I'm still waiting on the results from the second time I had it.
All right, I have no further questions.
Mr. Washington, did you specifically request to be enrolled in the sex offender class?
No, ma'am.
And your crime involved a rape, didn't it? Aggravated rape?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you ask to take the sex offender class?
Because once again, I asked the classification about it, and they told me I wasn't charged with that, convicted of it, so I didn't need the class.
Right, but did you ask to be enrolled in it? You
No,
said you
ma'am.
not. Okay. And you also took, I see where you completed a victim awareness class in, last year in 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you learn from that?
Where I learned not only that I had one victim, but I had multiple victims. And I didn't realize this. I thought I just had one, but I didn't realize that I affected her whole family and people that's for her friends and all the other people too. I didn't realize this at the time and while I've been incarcerated that I had so many other victims. So,
Right.
and
What impact do you believe your actions had on your victim?
well, too much. It devastated her. And each time I think about what I had done and how it affected her, you know, it takes my breath away that I'd done such a thing to this person.
All right, what kind of community service work do you do there at the prison?
Well, kind of help a lot of other people. I do hobby craft, so I help other people to learn how to do it in a proper way. And anytime it needs volunteers to go on cutting grass on Beeline or different other places, you know, I'm one of the first people to ready to go. So.
All right, I don't have any other questions. Any other questions?
I just have a statement from the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office. They advised that they were opposed to the offender's request for commutation, and the 19th Judicial District Attorney's Office is opposed. And the 18th said they deferred prosecution of the aggravated rape. That's why you're not billed and charged with it, because it was a victim's consent, because it was too hard for the victim. I can tell you why, because it's too hard for the victim after we live the trauma and what happened to him, solely based upon the fact that this offender was convicted in our jurisdiction and sentenced to life. We strongly believe this offender has not served sufficient time to even be considered for commutation. We also believe he is a danger to public safety. But that was their statement.
Mr. Tiller?
Yeah, how old were you when you were incarcerated?
I was 23.
23, and the crime occurred at 23,
Yes, sir.
and you served how many years there?
October makes 38 years.
38 years. That's a long time. What's your educational background?
Well, I graduated from high school.
Very nice to you, and your mother said she reared you pretty good. You made some mistakes.
Yes, sir.
And you tried to take as many classes as you could that you were aware of to better yourself.
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you had a write-up?
2016.
2016. What was it for? You remember?
I'm trying to. Homosexual activity, that's the only thing I can think of, a 30W. I had a
30W.
friend, yeah, I had a friend that's a homosexual and somebody wrote a letter and that's all I know about it. I never got a chance to read it. So
So have you learned a lot in those 38 years you've been there?
I learned plenty, sir, and like I say, I'm ashamed of all the stuff that I had done to get myself here, but I have been trying to better myself and be a better person to not only people on the street, but the security here and other inmates, I think I'm a well respected person and I have learned a lot.
Good, good. I hope you continue trying to better yourself. I have no further.
Yeah, Warden Ambo, can you shed some light on that 2016 write-up?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm looking for now. Yeah, okay, they say on the above date and time, offender Jackie Washington is being placed in administrative segregation pending investigation for homosexual activity. And let me see, did I find investigation? After concluding investigation, I, Lieutenant Chad Uber, have the following information. After speaking with offender Reinhardt in Washington, both offenders admit to me that they were both involved in a homosexual relationship with each other. Therefore, in my opinion, and due to the nature of this investigation, both offenders should be separated and listed as enemies.
Okay, and that was a 30W?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, is the panel prepared to vote?
Oh, we got Tracy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Barbera, we'd like to hear from the DA's office.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Renata. Tracy Barbera for the 19th Judicial District Attorney's Office. I believe the record of this case speaks for itself. I also think that Jackie Washington speaks for himself in that he will not acknowledge that he is a sex offender. That is why he has not requested to take the sex offender treatment. While incarcerated, he, as we just learned, he still cannot control his sexual urges while incarcerated. And on September 1st of 2022, when he signed this request for clemency consideration, he signed a notarized document, and in his own handwriting, he wrote, "I asked her to have sex with me." You don't ask a woman to have sex with you at gunpoint. You force a woman to have sex with you at gunpoint. And I know acceptance of responsibility for what the individual has done plays a major role in your decision-making process. And I would submit to you this morning that we can set aside how long he's been in jail and the facts of what he did. The fact that he will not acknowledge that he raped her, I think is sufficient in and of itself to deny his request for clemency. And I would respectfully ask that you do so this morning. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, my vote is to deny. He needs sex offender treatment. You need to take it. You have a bad criminal history and a bad supervisory history. Virginia.
Mrs. Stapleton.
I agree with Mr. Freeman, and when I was reading the report, the thing that I noticed that he did ask for was that she kiss him. And so she gave him a peck on the cheek, and you told her that that was not enough. That's the only thing that I found that you asked your victim for. So my vote is no.
Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to grant.
To commute to what? To commute a sentence.
Commuted sentence, I'm sorry.
99.
99, yes. I apologize.
Mr. Prater.
Deny.
All right, Mr. Washington, the sex offender treatment is very important to me. That's why I asked you the questions I asked. I cannot make a favorable recommendation on your behalf without that in your back pocket. So my vote today also is to deny your application. And hopefully you'll ask these folks there at the penitentiary to get you enrolled in our class. I think you need to learn some things from it. So today you've received one favorable vote, but you've received 4 votes to deny your application for commutation of sentence. So today your application has been denied, sir. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.